games besides Sunday night and Monday Night Football on our Sunday Night Live. But, okay, first, all those beautiful YouTube things that you love to okay, send us your questions in the chat as well if you want us to talk about whatever you want to talk about. Okay, so we'll respond and we'll talk about it live. Now, Sammy, we have to talk about 6-5 Houston Texans, quarterbacked by Davis Mills, upset the now 2 games back in the AFC East and pretty much 3 games back with tiebreakers. Ball 23-19 was the score. We saw an amazing Houston Texans defense absolutely dominate. Sacks, 2 picks, and a fumble for this Houston defense. Outstanding. They were pretty much lights out the entire game. And that was an unbelievable play. But we see, like we're talking about it before, Sammy, we got a lot, especially the Buffalo Bills. So, Sammy, I'm going to kick it to you, man. What were your takeaways from this Thursday night football game here?
I'm tired. I'm tired of them. Like, I'm so tired of Buffalo. Like, it's year in and year out. And look, I don't want to be too pessimistic because, again, it's halfway through. We're pretty much over halfway through the season, right? Like, still a lot of football to be played. And they could, look, maybe the Patriots do a Dolphins and completely, like, crap the division. Maybe. It's possible, okay? Anything's possible. But I will say that it's not likely because Mike Vrabel is a different head coach. Drake May is a different QB. And this is just a better football team. Okay. With that out of the way. Buffalo fans. It's been years, man. It's been years. I'm tired of every single year being a year of destiny. Can you guys just do something? Can you please just do something? Why is it every single year? It has to be us. It needs to be us. We have the team. We have the roster. And every single year, it's something, bro. It's something. How many teams of destiny do you guys need before you realize you're just not? You're just not a team of destiny. Josh Allen. Maybe Josh Allen's just not cut out to win a ring. Maybe he's just not. Maybe he'll win an MVP and he's just going to be a really, really good QB that played for the Buffalo Bills, but they couldn't get it done. Reminds me of a lot of like Dan Marino. Dan Marino was a really, really good Hall of Fame level ahead of his time. He couldn't get it done. And you want to know something? I would give you guys a pass. And I still am a little bit. I'm this close from taking away that Super Bowl pick. I'm this close. Like I am this game almost broke me. But what I will say is that this Texans defense is really damn good. So maybe this week, short week, facing an elite defense, classic trap game. I guess, man. Like I guess we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. Like I guess this week, okay? So with that being said, your schedule for the rest of the year. You face the Steelers, you face the Bengals, you face the Patriots, you face the Browns, you face the Eagles, and you face the Jets. I count maybe 2, 3 gimme games. Actually, I count none. Because if we're being completely honest, if the Dolphins can dominate the Bills, I'm sure the Browns could find a way to make this game competitive. So as far as I can see, Matt, there are no more gimme games. The Bills are not who we thought we were at the beginning of the season. They're still my pick for now. I'm close, Matt. I'm very close. They're pissing me off. Honestly.
And Sammy, before the season, I also picked the Bills to make a Super Bowl run as well, and they just team consistently. You'll see it in spurts. You'll see Josh Allen turn into Superman. You'll some good teams or teams that we think are good that don't have like amazing records like the Chiefs and the Ravens and the Bucs. They've beaten teams with really high level quarterbacks who can play good football at times as well. But they've only played yesterday. It's a team above 500 now, 2-2. So again, there's a lot of talk about my Patriots. So they haven't played anybody. The Bills, they're 2-2. So again, Buffalo's been a super frustrating team. Like you. As far as Buffalo goes, years in the past where we can't say this because I think there was a lot of really good Buffalo teams that were well constructed. They had a number one receiver in Stephon Diggs. But straight up, this year, the Buffalo Bills failed. Allen failed the Bills because he played an absolutely terrible football game. But I think this season, Josh Allen has absolutely failed. Or the Buffalo Bills have absolutely failed Josh Allen because, again, we talked about it preseason. Where's the number one receiver? They were betting on that Keon Coleman breakout. Keon Coleman's been a DNP CD the last 2 games. Okay, he hasn't played at all the last 2 games because he doesn't want to show up to meetings. Okay, that's an absolute disaster from the Buffalo Bills. The fact that they thought that guy was going to be their number one receiver, and now he can't even show up to meetings. Okay, that's an absolute disaster if you're the Buffalo Bills. And then again, we're talking about this defense. We thought the defense was going to improve. It didn't. Okay, and now Josh Allen has to be Superman all the time again. And we see it when he's Superman, like I talked about, those 3 games against Kansas City, Baltimore, Tampa Bay. He's Superman, they win. When he's not, they can lose to anybody in the entire National Football League. This Buffalo Bills team has lost, again, I'm not trying to throw shade here, but they lost to your Miami Dolphins, Sammy, not a good team. They lost to the Atlanta Falcons, also not a good team. Okay, they just lost to Houston, mediocre team, and they lost to my Patriots, who, again, a lot of people have questions about their schedule and stuff like that. So yeah, the Buffalo Bills, there is a ton of questions about this football team going into this playoffs. And honestly, again, I picked the Bills in the preseason. I'm the same as you, Sammy. I hate to come off my picks. I really do not want to come off my picks, but it is looking really, really, really bad right now in Buffalo. And if there was a time, again, I'm not going to do it until they're basically mathematically eliminated, but I'm not feeling good about my pick right now, Sammy. Buffalo is just in a really bad spot. But I do want to talk about Houston here real quick because I thought this was an interesting game from the Houston Texans perspective as well. And I don't know about you, Sammy. Do we need some like Davis Mills, CJ Stroud dialogue here? Is there a discussion to be had? Do we need to have this conversation?
No. Oh my goodness, stop it, please. What are we done, man? What are we doing here?
I mean, Mills, the offenses look better with Mills.
I don't care.
Why?
I don't care. Like, I really don't. Look, guys. Look, I understand it looks a little bit better with Mills. Okay, it does. It looks a little bit better. I get it. CJ Stroud is your franchise QB. There is no QB controversy here. Okay. He's had way more success, not this year. In the past, he's had way more success than Davis Mills ever could. I'm not taking a couple of game sample sizes and supersizing them into this grand QB controversy. It's not a controversy. Look, if anything, this gives CJ Stroud a lot more leeway to get fully healthy. Okay, fully healthy and back to the player he used to be. So we now know that Davis Mills is a competent QB and can run a great offense. Okay, not great, good, solid to good offense. Okay, decent, now we know. Yeah. But that is it. That is the most of it. We don't need to be having these conversations. When CJ Stroud gets back, he should be grateful that he's going to have a defense that can lock down any team in the NFL. He's going to be grateful for that. But he's going to be the starting QB, and we don't have to discuss this any further. Shout out to DeMeco Ryan. There were some people said that he was going to be in the hot seat. I think that's stupid. It's stupid. Dumb. Look, I have this opinion. I had this opinion about Robert Saleh. The defense is directly what he's there for, and the defense is the best in football. Okay, he is not the problem. It's about figuring out the offensive side of the ball. Okay, it's different. He is winning games as well. So, and plus, it's not his fault management decided to trade away offensive linemen. Okay, offensive linemen that really would have helped. So, yeah, look, the Texans, watch out, because look, man, I believe they played 2 games against the Colts. Oh, look, they're not out of the division yet. Is all I'll say. They're not out of it. I think they can make a run at this division. They were my picks early on in the year, and I'm not even wavering from that. I'm not going to waver from that. I still think they can win this division.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win the division anymore, Sammy. I just don't. I think they've dug themselves too deep of a hole in this AFC South to kind of get themselves out of it. But I mean, they, like you mentioned, D'Amico Ryans is coaching his ass off. Like this guy is doing an unbelievable job with this football team, and I think everybody knew that when they hired D'Amico Ryans. Like this guy is going to be a really good football coach, and he has turned out to be one of the best in the league. Like you mentioned, this defense is lights out. The personnel on that side of the football is great. Obviously, the edge rushers with Hunter and Anderson. You got Stingley locking stuff down. Kalen Bullock, that pick in the return didn't count, but that was an absolutely amazing return that he had after that pick. So again, tons of great personnel on the defensive side of the football. This team to me feels like kind of like the 2023 Browns. I don't know if you remember that team, Sammy. That's the Browns team that Joe Flacco came at the end of the year. The offense started lighting it up. The defense was really, really good. And then they got to the playoffs and they actually met the Texans and they lost to the Texans in the first round. I think that's kind of the best case scenario for this Texans team. I don't see them making a run just because this offense is still not good, even with Davis Mills playing solid to decent football. And when CJ Stroud comes back playing solid to good football, they're just not good enough. There's just not enough on the offensive line. There's just not enough weapons outside of Nico Collins. This run game isn't good enough. I just don't see them being able to make it. Maybe they win a playoff game, but I don't see them getting past the division.
I was going to say,
I
think
don't know
that's
about you.
their ceiling. I think the ceiling is winning a playoff game because they've done it as underdogs and as favorites. So I think I'd still give them a very good shot. Look, man, I know it's a long shot, but I think the Texans, when they match up against the Colts, I think the Colts are going to have a lot of trouble moving the ball. And I think that the Texans offensively can do just enough to make things interesting. So I'm not wavering from my pick. I still got Texans winning this division.
Yeah, no, they can definitely be competitive with the Colts. Like I said, I just don't think they dug themselves too deep of a hole. So, but man, big win for Houston on Thursday Night Football, and you know what remains to be seen what's going to happen with the Buffalo Bills because they are not looking like a good football team.
Lock in, Josh.
Right, you got to lock in. Definitely got to lock in. Defense, lock in too. Geez, you can't be letting Davis Mills throw mini parties on you. But let's go. To stay in the division, Sammy, you might as well stay with my team. Okay, let's stay in the AFC East. And it is the New England Patriots at 9-2 facing off against the 3-7 Cincinnati Bengals. The Patriots looking to extend the lead that we were just talking about they had over Buffalo, while Cincinnati could be getting the face of their franchise. Joey B, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Burrow could be coming back for the Bengals. He's questionable with that toe injury, but this was his second week of practice, logged 2 full participation practices on Wednesday and Thursday before limited on Friday, and it looks like he has a good shot of playing in this game on Sunday. And obviously, Joe Burrow at home, that would be a super exciting return for Cincinnati Bengals fans. So, Sammy, Joe Burrow potential return, what do you think is going to happen here with this Patriots-Bengals game?
I'm predicting a shootout. I think that the Joe Burrow comes back and picks up right where he left off. Psych, I lied. Jamar Chase isn't playing. Why in the world would I pick the why would I think this is going to be a competitive game if the wide receiver one who spit on a player, by the way, decided to just by the way, this was a big game for the Bengals because if they wanted any chance of like finding a way to squeak into the playoffs, this would have been the game to do it. And you want to know something? That offense, we saw it last year, and we were going to see it this year. That offense can compete with anybody. And with Joe Burrow back, they would have had a shot in this game. But Jamar Chase, being stupid, I think he extended the gap completely. And look, man, the Bengals don't have a great defense at all. As a matter of fact, it's the worst defense in the NFL, as everybody and their mother predicted would happen, by the way. And on top of that, Jamar Chase is out. I feel bad for Joe Burrow because it feels like he really busted his butt to get back, only for his the best player on the team, to just act so selfishly and dumb. And now I'm predicting it's going to be a 2-score victory for the Patriots. I think Drake May dots his defense up as usual. I'm expecting quick work. Obviously, in the NFL, anything can happen. Maybe T. Higgins just turns into Jamar Chase or something. But I think this defense is too solid, and I think Drake May starts pounding the table at the MVP table.
Yeah, and to your point, Sammy, the Jamar Chase not being there is huge. Obviously, you know, really dumb move on his part doing what he did. You know, obviously, like we saw it week 1 with Jalen Carter, and then to repeat that and then, you know, try to get away with it. It's just stupid. Like, why would you do that? It just doesn't make any sense. Obviously, he's frustrated with how the season has gone and how he's been playing personally, but you can't do that. But in terms of, first of all, actually, I'm going to respond to Josh. He just put up this comment. Let's put it on the screen right now. He just put up Bills, another one of those quality wins Patriots fans say that they have this year. I'm not going to take that from a Cowboys fan. I'm really not. I think the best win that you've had so far this season was against the Raiders last week. So again, I'm not going to take any of that slander from a Cowboys fan because you guys haven't beat anybody. The best game of the season for you guys is a tie. That's the best game of the season for you guys. You literally tied in the best game that you guys played this season. And congratulations for that participation trophy, by the way. So again, I'm not giving you no credit, and I'm not taking that slander from you, Josh. But in terms of this game, Sammy, to your point, I do think this is going to be a little bit higher scoring game. Patriots defense, especially in the first drive. Patriots defense, can we get our shit together in the first drives of games? I have no idea what happens. The other team scores a touchdown on us every single first drive of every single football game. We need to get our shit together, okay? So, better first drive defense, New England, please, for the love of God, we have to be better. And then to your point, I think this Patriots defense, I think this Patriots offense is really going to take advantage of this Bengals defense. I think we've seen the Trey Hendrickson injury play even more of a factor into how bad this Bengals defense has been, especially without Trey Hendrickson. This defense has been really, really bad so far this year. And obviously, you mentioned literally the worst in the league, and then you take the best defensive player on that team, maybe one of the best defensive players in the league off of that team, it's going to get even worse. I think Drake May going to have a big day. I'm thinking he actually hasn't thrown for over 300 yards this year. This is the game. He's going for 350, 3 touchdowns, no picks. We're going to see Ramondre Stevenson probably get back into the mix, even though fantasy managers aren't going to be very happy about that because Trayvon Henderson's been playing really well. But Ramondre Stevenson's getting back into the mix. Trayvon Henderson combined with him, and we're going to see a light show from the New England Patriots. So the Patriots are winning this. I think it's going to be 31-26 Patriots over the Cincinnati Bengals. But we got to kick it to a different game. All right, we're going to a different game. And this is a game that's really big for both teams, okay? It's the Indianapolis Colts at the Kansas City Chiefs. And believe it or not, despite how mediocre, by literally definition, they're 5-5, how mediocre the Kansas City Chiefs have looked, they're 3.5-point favorites in this game. So the Chiefs are favorites, even over the Colts coming off of their bye. The Chiefs are coming off of their second straight loss. Like I said, desperate need of a win. They have just one win over teams above 500 this year. So, Sammy, I got to kick it to you, bro. Do we see Indianapolis put a nail in the Chiefs' coffin? Or do we see the Chiefs that we've been accustomed to seeing over these last few years?
I think we see a wounded dog in Kansas City. And one thing about a wounded dog, they're going to bite everything that comes towards them. And I think the Chiefs are about to show the league again why they're still the Chiefs. And look, Indianapolis, I think they're a great team. I think they're going to make the playoffs. But I think this is a must-win game for Kansas City. I think this is a game that Kansas City has played in before. This feels like a playoff game for Kansas City because if they lose this game, they'll be under 500. And I don't think they've been this far into the regular season under 500 in the Patrick Mahomes era. I don't think I've seen it. Past week 10, I don't think it's ever been this bad. So I think the Chiefs are going to get it done. It's so difficult to bet against Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. And I think if it wasn't the Chiefs, I probably would go with Indianapolis, but the Chiefs are at home, I believe. And at Arrowhead Stadium, I think Daniel Jones is going to turn the ball over like he does. And
a lot.
It's going to look, it's not even a statistical thing. I'll be completely honest. 1, because I don't have any notes. And 2, because it's just, quite frankly, guys, like there's some things, statistics last year said that the Chiefs shouldn't have won like half of their games, okay? Like it doesn't make any sense. And they went to the Super Bowl. So for the Chiefs, no, it's just blind faith at this point. I just don't see. I think they start running the table, and I think it starts right now. The boogeyman, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, nothing else to really say.
Yeah, Sammy, you talked about Daniel Jones, kind of going back to Daniel Jones, what he's been doing. The last 2 weeks of football, he has, I think it's 6 fumbles and 4 picks is the stat. 6 fumbles and 4 picks from Daniel Jones over the last 2 weeks of football from him. Obviously, coming off a bye, you expect him to be better than that. But again, like I'm sorry, Colts fans. I'm sorry about it. Like I just can't get my heart into Daniel Jones. I just can't. I'm sorry. Like I really just I just can't do it. Like he's played awesome, way better than I thought he was going to play this year. I was 100% wrong on the Colts at the start of the year. I've been 100% wrong on Daniel Jones so far this year. But I just don't think he's a top 10 quarterback like he showed that he was the first 7-8 weeks of the season. And I think these last 2 weeks are maybe not where he's going to play the rest of the season, but I think we're going to start seeing some of those flashes of the old Daniel Jones come in more and more and more as people get more and more accustomed to this Daniel Jones version of this Colts offense. And like you mentioned, he's going into Kansas City. This is one of the hardest places to play in the entire NFL. You got to play against Patrick Mahomes. You got to play against Andy Reid, a really good, or maybe not a really good, but a good Chiefs defense on that side of the football. Like you mentioned, Steve Spagnuolo going to be able to, throw exotic pressures at him, bring pressure from different places. So I do think that Kansas City, again, like you said, wounded dog. They need a win really, really bad. If they lose this game, I'm completely out on Kansas City. This just means they're not a good football team. They're just not a good football team if they lose this game. Even if they win out the rest of the season, I still won't believe in them because they will have lost 3 straight games here, 2 big games to teams that they need to beat to prove that they're actually a good football team. So yeah, as far as the Kansas City Chiefs go, I think they are going to get a win here on Sunday against these Indianapolis Colts. And I think it's a big game for the Colts too, to prove where they're at in the NFL as well. Like they need to show the rest of these teams in the NFL, hey, we're for real. Like we can beat good football teams as well, and we can beat a really a proven football team like the Kansas City Chiefs in Kansas City coming up on Sunday. So we'll transition now, Sammy. Let's go to another game. I think this game as well is big for both teams. That's the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Chicago Bears. Okay, this one, the Bears are favored by 2.5 points, and I'm interested to see how this game plays out because, like I said, big game for both teams. Steelers need a win to stay in front of the surging Ravens, who they are now just a game in front of in the AFC North. The Bears need a win because they're barely in front of the Lions and the Packers, who are right behind them in the NFC North. And both teams have very tough end of the season schedules, and they got to start getting some wins right now. But a storyline for the Steelers, which quarterback are we getting on Sunday? Is Aaron Rodgers going to start, or is it Mason Rudolph? We saw Rodgers leave last week for Cincinnati, allowing Rudolph to take over and finish that game. But Rodgers did practice each of the last 2 days, and it sounds like he's got a good chance to play as well. So, Sammy, I'm kicking it to you. Steelers and Bears, who do you got?
Oh my gosh, I feel like this is like the most like not mid battle I think I've ever seen in my. I don't know how to describe it. Like both average, but they're not. It's like it's so weird. Like they're both good teams, but they aren't good teams. This is okay. By the way, I don't say that like out of like disrespect. It's just like you watch these two teams play, and it hurts my eyes. So, but they're winning, so I can't really say not much. I know a team that both hurts my eyes and loses. So it's just it's a weird game, but I got to say, I'm a big fan of the way Caleb Williams played last week, and I've been a big fan of the way he's progressed in this Ben Johnson offense. If there's one thing I think the Bears can say this year, at the very least, it's that unlike last year, it really feels like the offense and Caleb Williams is starting to come together. Now, I'm one of those people who says I give you till week 10 to show me who you are, and then that is it. Who you are is who you are. In my opinion, the Bears are kind of been the exception to the rule. I don't think the Bears have fully really exploded in their potential. And look, they have the weapons, and right now they have the play call. I think Brendan Johnson has gotten better and better as a head coach as the season has gone on. With the Steelers, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to describe. I don't even know what to say about the Steelers that hasn't already been said. It's like they're so bad, but they're good. Like it's they're. I can't say much about the Steelers. Look, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Steelers is that a Mike Tomlin coach team is always going to come out swinging. They're always going to start off strong. They're always going to make it look like it's going to be a tough game. But then towards the second half, you finally start to realize, oh, wait, they're the Steelers. They are going to gas themselves out. And they do. And then it turns out to be a blowout. But I do think that the Bears still have this like stench over them that kind of like makes like a great like an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. I know it sounds like I'm yapping here, but you guys have to pick up what I'm putting down, okay? This is a very odd game that I'm breaking down here. But regardless of that, I have the Bears. I have the Bears winning. I have the Bears winning because I don't trust the Steelers defense. And as long as Caleb Williams takes care of the ball, which he has this year, he only has 4 interceptions. I think that the Bears can easily win. Not easily. they can win this game. I do think it's going to be close because, again, I think it's going to be close because it's Mike Tomlin, okay? And Mike Tomlin teams play tough, but I do have the Bears winning this just by one possession. It might come down to a field goal, but as long as the Bears don't turn the ball over like 5 times, I think they'll be fine.
Yeah, and to your point that you just made, I mean, that's been kind of the how the Steelers beat even decent teams. Like they beat the Colts, turn them over 6 times. They beat the Patriots, turn them over 5 times. So like if they get 5 turnovers, obviously they're going to probably beat anybody in football. But like you mentioned, this Chicago Bears team takes care of the football. They had the best turnover differential in the NFL heading into last week. I believe it's still the case heading into this week because, like you mentioned, Caleb Williams doesn't turn the ball over very often. He only threw 6 interceptions his entire rookie year last year, despite being, an underwhelming rookie year for him last year. But I mean, like you talked about, if Caleb Williams can take care of the football this year, he's also been limiting sacks as well, which is one of the things that the Steelers defense does the best is get after the quarterback. The Bears have a much improved offensive line. Caleb Williams, I don't know if any of you guys have seen some of these scramble drill highlights from Caleb Williams. He might be one of the hardest quarterbacks to sack in football. Like he is Houdini in the pocket. You cannot sack him. It is so hard to get a hold of Caleb Williams because of his athleticism, because he can throw from so many different arm angles. It's why, again, I talked about it on the Bears episode that I did last week. Even if he turns out to be a terrible quarterback, I don't know if I'm ever going to give up on him because he's just so freaking talented. Like this guy is one of the most talented quarterbacks in the NFL. So Caleb Williams, I do believe no matter which quarterback plays for the Steelers, again, Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career, he's having a solid year, but is Aaron Rodgers drop off to Mason Rudolph super precipitous at this point? Is it going from Joe Burrow to whoever, or Lamar Jackson to Cooper Rush? It's not that, okay? It's Mason Rudolph could come in and do a decent job as we saw last week against the Bengals. So I'm not taking that too much into account. I just think the Chicago Bears are the better football team, even though the Steelers defense has played better the last 3 weeks. We talked about versus the Colts. They played a solid game on the defensive side of the ball against the Chargers, and then they played well last week against the Bengals offense that had been rolling before that. So Steelers defense playing better. I still think Caleb Williams in the Bears, the Bears are going to move to 8-3 in my opinion, and I would have never thought that, even though I picked the Bears to win the division before the season.
Stand on it.
I'm knocking on wood, bro. I'm knocking on wood. Like you said, I don't. Somehow they're 7-3. They might be 8-3, and I'm pretty sure they still have a negative point differential. So it shows you all of these one-score games that they've been winning. They're 5-0 and one-score games this year. Hopefully, they can get another one against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Real quick, I'm just going to talk about 3 games. We're not even going to talk more. I'm just going to speed past them. The Jets and the Ravens, the Seahawks and the Titans, and the Giants and the Lions. I think we all got Ravens, Seahawks, and Lions in those ones, and there's no really big storylines. So we're just going to speed right past all of those because there is a game that's a big game with a lot of storylines that I want to talk about, and it's in the NFC North, Sammy. It's the 4-6 Minnesota Vikings at the 6-3-1 Green Bay Packers. For the Vikings, JJ McCarthy is looking to bounce back from a rough performance versus the Bears, and he's going to go up against one of the league's best defenses in Green Bay. But the Packers have some injuries that they are dealing with, notably on the offensive side. Josh Jacobs is questionable with a knee injury. That's a big one for the Packers. And 3 of their wide receivers, Matthew Golden, Savion Williams, Dontavian Wicks, are all questionable in this game as well. So, Sammy, I got to kick it to you. Does J.J. McCarthy look like a franchise quarterback in this game, or do the Packers dominate once again?
No, I don't think J.J. McCarthy has looked like a franchise QB at all, but I think the Vikings fans need to just come to terms that this is going to be a long game thing, okay? It's not going to be a one season thing. And this game is going to be one of those games. Unfortunately, J.J. McCarthy is going to have to introduce himself to Micah Parsons. And Micah Parsons is a very, 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 very giving man, okay? But when it comes to football, not so giving. JJ McCarthy, you are about to meet him, and he's going to run after you repeatedly until you are exhausted. And unfortunately, I don't think you're going to survive that. And so if anybody has over under 1.5 picks for JJ McCarthy, hammer it in because it's happening. Okay, it is happening. Yeah, obviously I have the Packers winning this game. Look, it's nothing against the Vikings. Your QB has not been good, and you're facing one of the best defenses in the league. And look, I know I've been a very, critical person of Jordan Love. I have a little critical.
Yeah, you think? Just a tiny bit.
Look, okay, but I will say he's dealing with a lot of injuries in his wide receiving core and his
For
tight
sure.
end room and his running back room. So I decided I'm going to take it easy on Jordan Love. I'm going to wait for the right time. I still think there are 15 QBs better than him, but I'm going to give him a pass here, and he has a chance to prove himself. If he balls out against his Vikings defense, maybe I might reconsider and pick, 14 QBs better than him. Who knows? But regardless of that, look, no disrespect. I just think that JJ McCarthy and his wide receivers don't have a connection right now. They don't. And going up against this Green Bay defense is just the last thing. The Minnesota Vikings offensive line has been inconsistent. There are weeks where it's been all right, and then there are weeks where it's just been downright bad. And I think going up against a front seven like Green Bay, which I still think is the best front seven in football, I'm sorry, Minnesota. You guys are going to be 4-7. I think this is going to become a lost season. It's going to be a rough first year for JJ McCarthy. I also think the Packers really need this win because it's been like a lot of, even in your wins, it's been like very low morale. You're injured, you're banged up, right? Losing to teams that you should be beating, if we're being honest. I mean, losing to Cleveland, losing to Carolina. I mean, losing to Philly is one thing, but the way you lost, like, it's been pretty demoralizing. I think this is a great pick-me-up game. I have the Packers winning by 2 possessions. I think the Packers get it done. And despite the injuries, I think Jordan Love has a solid performance, and he dominates against Minnesota.
Yeah, the Packers defense is just going to be too much for JJ McCarthy and Vikings fans. I know there's a lot of like, I've seen some Vikings videos where it's like, oh, Kevin O'Connell's not calling the right plays, this and that. Like how are you going to possibly blame Kevin O'Connell at this point? Like, we've seen Kevin O'Connell succeed with he turned Sam Darnold into an MVP. We saw him succeed with Kirk Cousins. We've seen Kevin O'Connell, Nick Mullins. We saw Carson Wentz come in and perform better earlier in the season. Like, there's zero excuse for, again, and Vikings fans will be like, oh, you didn't actually watch the game. I watched the game with both of my eyes. I saw JJ McCarthy throw the ball 20 feet over his receiver's head into the first row of the stands about 5 separate times. Okay. That's not on Kevin O'Connell. He had wide open receivers that he was just flat out missing half of the time. Okay. Again, there have been some drops with the Minnesota Vikings. We've seen some drops in there, but again, that's not an excuse for a 52.9% completion percentage for 168 yards per game for 6 yards an attempt, 6 touchdowns, 8 picks, and a 61 rating. There is no excuse for that. Okay. You can't possibly blame Kevin O'Connell for that. That is JJ McCarthy being a bad rookie quarterback right now. And again, I'm not saying JJ McCarthy can't be good in the future. I still believe in his intangibles, his character, his heart, his determination, his grit. I think the 9 stuff is corny. It's definitely corny. But I do believe in a lot of his intangibles. I think he needs to work his throwing motion more. I've talked about it a lot. I think the throwing motion is long, loopy, and slow. He's got to tighten that up. But there are things to like with JJ McCarthy. Okay. I just don't think right now he's a good football player. I don't think this season you're going to be a good football team because of it. So, like you mentioned, Sammy, Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, despite all the injuries on offense, I think that they're going to take this one in Green Bay. But we're going to transition to another game, Sammy, and this one is not as interesting, but I still want to talk about it because there are a couple interesting storylines here. That's the Jags versus the Cardinals. 6-4 Jacksonville Jaguars are going on the road at the 3-7 Cardinals. Jags coming off a big win versus the Chargers. They are currently the AFC's 7 seed are the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Cardinals are struggling. Losers of 7 of their 8 last games and are banged up without their QB1, their RB 1, 2, and 3, and their wide receiver 1. And that's just the skill position injuries. They got more injuries on their team besides that. But despite that, Jacoby Brissett has still found a way to play solid football despite a lot of losing efforts as of late. So, Sammy, give me your takeaways from this probably disgusting game that's going to happen in Arizona between the Jags and the Cardinals.
I mean, I think this is already a down year for Arizona. I'll just say it. I think they're going to fire both Gannon and their general manager. I forget his name. I should know it. But regardless, I think they're both going to be fired. I think it's time to start over. Look, specifically with Marvin Harrison Jr., it hasn't worked out. It hasn't. And then on top of that, with Kyler Murray, it definitely has not worked out. I mean, every aspect of your team is average or below average. I mean, it's just not good. It's just not a good spot to be in. It's one of the worst spots to be in football right now. You have Jacoby Brissett, a career backup, You prefer him starting over Kyler Murray. I think that was your like cue to like wave the towel and start over because like. And by the way, for people saying, "Oh no, Kyler Murray's injured," no, you guys saw the game against the Cowboys and thought to yourselves, "You know what? We can put Kyler Murray on injury reserve because Jacoby Brissett is going to lead us because he dominated the powerful and dominant Cowboys defense." That is what happened, which is pathetic. For the Jaguars, I think this is a great game, especially with Indianapolis potentially losing. I think this is a great game to build off of a very impressive win against the Chargers. Now, granted, the Chargers are a little banged up, but prior to that game, I mean, a pretty depressing loss against Houston, giving up that absolutely terrible lead in the fourth quarter. But on the bright side, you're 6-4. You're facing a team that you should beat. I think this is a comfortable win for the Jaguars. I don't think this is a lot to really. I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence right now, and I always laugh when I see Trevor Lawrence because like I'm seeing a statistic, and it's just like, dang, bro, like wow, it's just so unimpressive. And I'm sorry to shade at Trevor Lawrence. I get the chance to shade him anytime I get because at one time I was laughing at people for saying Trevor Lawrence is like just Daniel Jones in Jacksonville. And I was like, you idiots, give him time. And now it's kind of true. I don't know. Well, it's not as bad, but it's like he's just mad, man. I get depressed when I think of Trevor Lawrence, Matt. I don't know about you.
Who's the better quarterback in this game, Jacoby Brissett or Trevor Lawrence?
It's still Trevor Lawrence, but like,
are you sure?
Not by a lot.
Yeah.
I still prefer Trevor Lawrence over Jacoby Brissett.
I think so.
Why is this a conversation that we're having now? What is going on?
We could have a legitimate debate about that question. That shows you how down bad Trevor Lawrence is right now. And that right there is why I completely disagree with you on this game. I think this is going to be an upset. I think the I do not believe in the Jacksonville Jaguars whatsoever, Sammy. I don't believe it. Okay. They had a great game last week. Like you mentioned, banged up, super banged up Los Angeles Chargers team. Now the Jags are banged up. Trayvon Walker's not going to play. Brian Thomas Jr. is not going to play as well. They're going to have some offensive linemen out as well. I think this Arizona Cardinals team, even though they're banged up as well, they've been really competitive throughout the course of the year. I think the last couple of weeks they got smoked by Seattle a couple of weeks ago, but I think they're going to be competitive in this game. Okay, I think they're going to get after this. They're going to get after Trevor Lawrence with this defensive line, and I think Jacoby Brissett has got another big game in him. Last game he set the NFL record for completions. Okay, this week I don't know what NFL record he's going to set, but he's going to set another one. Okay, I don't just figure it out.
How many yards he got? I want to see how many yards he got in that game.
He went for over 400 last week. So he's going to. Yeah, so he's gonna go off again. Okay, he's gonna go off again against this Jags defense that's solid but also not great. Okay, and I think this Cardinals defense is going to get after, like I mentioned, Trevor Lawrence. I think it's going to be a kind of a medium scoring game, regular scoring game. I think it's going to be 24-20. I think the Arizona Cardinals are going to upset the Jacksonville Jaguars, Sammy, with their maybe better than Trevor Lawrence quarterback.
Don't do it, Duval County. Don't do it, Duval. Don't do it to me, man. Don't, Trevor, stop it. Lock in.
You gotta lock in, bro. We've been talking about you having a breakout since I'm pretty sure since I was in college, and I graduated college about 5 years ago. So yeah, you got to figure out how to actually break out instead of just being a theoretical breakout candidate every single year, Trevor Lawrence. But let's move to a quarterback who, if he breaks out in this game, it's going to be the number one storyline in the entire NFL this year. And it normally would not be, considering it's 2-8 teams that are going to be playing against each other. The 2-8 Raiders are going to host the 2-8 Browns. And if this was Geno Smith versus Dylan Gabriel, we would not have covered this game. I would not have watched this game. And this game may have not been watched by either of these teams' fans because this is an absolutely atrocious football game. However, Shedeur Sanders will be starting in this football game, so we have to watch and we have to talk about it because he might be the most polarizing player to come into the NFL in a long time. Like I was thinking about this before the show, Sammy, like the most polarizing quarterbacks to come into the NFL, like Johnny Football, Tim Tebow, and Shedeur Sanders. Like it's those guys. And again, hopefully he doesn't have a career like either of those two guys had, because those guys had relatively forgettable careers besides that one Tim Tebow playoff run. But again, there's really no middle ground opinions on Shedeur Sanders. Sanders. You're either dug in, he's going to be great, or you're dug in, he's going to be terrible. So Shedeur Sanders starting in this game. Again, I really don't care who wins, so I'm not even going to ask you who wins, Sammy. What do you expect from Shedeur Sanders in this game against the Las Vegas Raiders?
Yeah, because why would we predict a game prediction for 2-2-8 teams? Okay,
Who cares?
All right, and like that's ridiculous. Okay, we all know why we're here. We all know why we're here. Okay, don't lie to yourself. Oh, I really want to see how Geno Smith performs against his Browns defense.
Shut up, that person.
Shut up. No, you're not there for that. Okay, Shedeur Sanders is why we're here. And be honest, ladies and gentlemen, hate him or love him, you're watching like I'm watching. Okay, and you want to know something? I feel it. I feel it
watching.
I feel it in my bones. I feel it. I feel a big Shedeur Sanders game. I feel it. Matt. I don't know what it is.
Come on, Shedeur.
Look, I don't give a damn.
We got you.
I don't give a damn about Max Crosby. Okay, I really don't. I can't believe I'm saying that. I don't give a damn about Max Crosby. This defense is still average. Okay, it is still average. And by golly, guys, we could see a breakout game unlike we've ever seen before. Really, we really could, because think about this. Think about the polarizing players like Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel, right? I would argue that both of those players were not even close to the passers that Shedeur Sanders was.
No way, not even close.
Not even close. Okay, they might have been better players in college, but they're not good passers. They never were good passers. Shedeur Sanders, on the other hand, as long as he's not, high stepping all the way to the back like this, I think he's going to be just fine. And look, the thing about this offensive, I think the key here to avoid Max Crosby, get the ball out quick. Don't make it complicated. Don't try to throw deep shots against this team, even though the secondary really isn't that good. I think you can. There's a time and place for that. Time it right. But I think the key should be get Sanders comfortable. Have him get the ball out quick. Okay. Don't give him if we're running RPO. If we're running RPO and this man is still backing up, call him a bust. Okay. That's what I'm doing right now. Okay. But I'm expecting. I know. I said like a breakout game for the ages. Let me temper my expectations here. I predict that Shedeur Sanders is going to pass for over 200 yards. I think he's going to pass for 2 touchdowns, and I think he's throwing 1 pick. It's that simple. I don't think he's going to do anything crazy. And you want to know what you guys are going to do? Both of your sides are going to say something stupid. You guys are going to see that game and think, "Oh, he's the franchise. Oh, he's ready to be." And then the other side is going to say, look at this throw.
Raiders.
His throw wasn't good." You guys are going to overanalyze him like you guys overanalyze every single QB.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to give this kid time because me and Matt, we're objective. Okay. We're not biased. We're not biased fans. Okay. Why would I be a biased fan? I'm a Dolphins fan. What the heck do I have in this? Okay. It's as simple as that. Shedeur Sanders is going to ball out this game, Matt. And I cannot wait to see what people say when it happens. It's going to be so fun.
To your point, Sammy, Shedeur Sanders is a good passer of the football. I truly believe that. Like, if you watch him in college, again, if you actually sit down and watch, and 2, you look at that, he's one of the most accurate passers in college football history. Like, he was the league leader in completion percentage last year. He was the nation's leader, I should say, in completion percentage last year. Like, this kid can throw the football. Again, despite what you say about him, if you think it was a Deion, the only reason he was hyped is because of Deion. Maybe he was overhyped because of Deion. But again, he's not a bad quarterback. I truly don't believe he's a 4 for 16, 25% completion quarterback. I believe we're going to see that rise much more to where the level should be with Shedeur Sanders, a passer of his quality, a passer of his capabilities. I think he's going to complete 65, 70% of his passes. Like you talked about, Sammy, I'm expecting 250 and 2 touchdowns. I don't think he's going to throw a pick in this game because I think this Raiders defense is terrible. I talked about it on the episode last week. The Ravens defense that they played last week has been a really good defense for about a month and a half now. So again, he was got basically thrown into the fire against a really good Ravens defense that was throwing all sort of exotic pressures at him, all sort of exotic blitzes. They were getting after him, getting after him every single play, and he was having a hard time, obviously deciphering it because, first of all, he hasn't played with any of these players before, and second of all, it's his first literal game action in the NFL. So the fact that he's had a week of practice, he's had a little bit of NFL experience now, he's going up against a much lighter competition despite Max Crosby being a beast. There's really not much else on that Raiders defense to talk about that's significant besides a couple of names that aren't really good anymore, like Devin White and Jamal Adams. But that's about it, okay? So I believe Shedeur Sanders, like I mentioned, I'm thinking about 70% completions. I'm thinking 250 yards. I'm thinking 2 touchdowns. I'm thinking no picks. And again, I really don't care who wins the game. I don't think either team really cares who wins the game at this point. But if I had to pick, I'd probably pick the Browns. But because I think it's going to be a nightmare matchup for Geno Smith and going up against Myles Garrett in that Browns defense, I could easily see about 6 sacks and 4 turnovers for Geno Smith. It's part of the reason why I really don't want to watch this game. Maybe I'll only watch Shedeur. Maybe as soon as Geno Smith steps on the field, I'll just watch the other game.
I'm literally I'm zeroing in, I'm literally cutting off Raiders possessions. I'm so serious.
Yeah, I don't want to watch that.
The only reason why I'd want to watch a Raiders possession is to see Myles Garrett play football, because that is greatness at a level that that guy, why did he stay? Why did he have to stay? Why couldn't you go to I don't know. Where could he
anywhere?
Have gone, what do you think?
Anywhere else? I don't care.
Else, right?
Literally,
Miami.
Any team that's no, not Miami. Any team that's above 500. Literally, any team that's above 500 right now would have made them probably 2 games better. This guy is one of the best players in the league. One of the best players we'll ever see. He's first ballot Hall of Famer. He might break the sacks record this year. He's on pace for 25 sacks or whatever this year. He's unbelievable. But again, the point is, we both think Shedeur Sanders is going to have a good game against these Las Vegas Raiders, and that's why you're going to watch. You're going to watch for this. You're not going to watch for Geno Smith. We love Ashton Genty here on Between Uprights. You're not going to watch for Ashton Genty. You're going to watch for Shedeur Sanders and to see how he performs. But a game that I'm also probably not going to watch, Sammy, but I want to talk about something with these 2 teams because there's something crazy going on with one of these teams. It's the Atlanta Falcons and the New Orleans Saints, the 3-7 Falcons at the 2-8 Saints. Again, another game that doesn't really matter, but I want to have a quick discussion on the Atlanta Falcons. Michael Penix is out for the rest of the year with a partially torn left ACL, his 3rd ACL surgery, having the other 2 on his right knee in college. So now he's had ACL surgeries to both knees. So now Kirk Cousins will start under center, who's basically been a $40 million backup this year for the Atlanta Falcons. He also won't have Drake London in this game, who was hurt last week versus the Panthers. And if you somehow don't know the situation with the Falcons draft, they can't just lose the rest of the season and tank in peace because they don't even have their 1st round pick. That's going to the Rams, and it could potentially be a top 5 pick in next year's draft. And it was they traded for James Pierce Jr. in last year's NFL draft. And now I believe in James Pierce Jr. I think he's going to be a good edge rusher. However, he has 2.5 sacks this season, and that ain't worth what could be a top 5 pick in this draft. So, Sammy, I got to kick it to you. What the hell's going on with the Falcons? Falcons fans are about as down bad as any fan base in the NFL right now. It's crazy.
What sucks is that the Falcons actually have one of the better pass rushes in football. They have 34 sacks, which is 2nd in the league, which is what they've been wanting for so long. For so long, this team wanted some pass rush to really get it, because they've always had a solid secondary. It's just that the pass rush wouldn't get there. So, but this year, unfortunately, they can get to the QB, but they can't defend the run. So it's like one good thing happens, but then they can't defend the run. So at the end of the day, they offset, and nothing good comes out of this year. I'll be straight up. I've already mentioned this to you, Matt, off camera. I think the Michael Penix experiment should already be questioned right now. It should be questioned. He's getting surgery again on his ACL. I mean, he's not a spring chicken. He's 24. He's 24 at this point, right? I believe, or something like that. 23, around there. You could fact check me on it, but this is a tough game that they're playing right now, right? This is a tough game. This is a hard physical game, and pass rushers are more athletic than ever. I mean, this is a guy in Michael Penix. This is a guy in Michael Penix who's had 4 surgeries on, I believe it's 4 surgeries on both of his ACLs. On both of his knees. This is 3 surgeries on his knees. So this is, if I'm Atlanta, I'm concerned, because when you drafted him, this was a concern, and the concern has officially come to life. So now we can't guarantee that he's going to come back and be fully healthy. So at this point, if I'm Atlanta, look, maybe this year isn't the year to get a new QB, but I'm giving Michael Penix another year to stay fully healthy. And I'm hoping it works out. If it does not work out, I'm immediately looking at the 2027 draft class. And I'm thinking, what are some good QBs that we can maybe possibly like tank for or trade up for? Because look, it is way too concerning for Michael Penix to have 3 surgeries on his knees and for us to just like turn a blind eye to it. It's why I didn't think Michael Penix was a first round pick in the first place. Like that was the main reason why I said if you're gonna pick Michael Penix, it'd probably be better either late first round or second round, but or even third round. Like that's how concerned I was with his injuries, and it's come to life here. And as for Atlanta, I mean, there's no hope this year. Like they're 3-7. They're an average, like the offense was average with Michael Penix on the field anyway, which is very disappointing because of the weapons that you have. Like you have the best running back in football, the best running back in football, or a top 3 running back at the very least. One of the better weapons in football, top 10 wide receiver in my opinion. Drake London has been fantastic, and then just like the potential of players, man. Like it's so sad that Kyle Pitts still to this day can't seem to find a consistent role in this offense. He has 434 yards. So for a tight end, that's not bad. But we're talking about a tight end that was picked top 10. This is a top 10 tight end in the draft, and this is the production he's giving you. Not good. Darnell Mooney's been a disappointment. I mean, no other wide receiver has really stepped up outside of Drake London. So with Kirk Cousins running it, I expect him to fully tank, and it's all about just getting the best player available if you're Atlanta.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about, and I'll get into Penix in a little bit about what my thoughts on Michael Penix, but you were talking about, they can't really look for a quarterback next year because they don't have their pick. They don't have their first round pick next year that they could look for. They could look for a quarterback with.
Maybe trade up. I don't even know, bro.
I would not your trade up went horrible last year. I mean, like I said, I think James Pierce Jr. is going to end up a good player, but he's not worth a top 5 pick in this year's draft. He's just not. So it's just like I don't think you can do that either. And their history of drafting hasn't been elite either. You talked about the Kyle Pitts pick. It's funny that you talked about it because I literally had that draft piled up because I saw a post on it. The next pick was Jamar Chase. After that was Jalen Waddle. After that was Penei Sewell. After that was J.C. Horn. After that was Patrick Surtain. After that was Devontae Smith. Then Micah Parsons was 2 picks after that. Then it was Rashawn Slater. Like any of those picks, any of the 8 of the next 9 picks would have been so much better than Kyle Pitts. But he still hasn't found a role. And when they do give him a role, when they do expand his role, he proves that he's not capable of having it. He just can't hold on to the football. He has bad drops. He doesn't know his assignments. He doesn't know the proper route distribution. All these little things that it takes to be a good player in the NFL. He just doesn't have it. So yeah, it's been super frustrating for Kyle Pitts. And then to the point on Penix again. I was a bit. I'm obviously a big Michael Penix guy. I love Penix. Okay, and before the draft, I was a big Penix guy, and I just completely ignored all the injury stuff. I was like, listen, injuries happen. Okay, injuries happen. You can get hurt stepping outside. You can get hit by a bus. Okay, crazy things happen in life. You can get hurt doing whatever. Okay. And I was 100% in on his talent. I'm still in on his talent because we saw it this year. Even though he was super inconsistent, he could be super erratic sometimes with his accuracy. I think he completed about 60% of his passes this year. Not good enough, but we saw the talent. He can make so many different throws from so many different platforms. He's got a freaking cannon on his left arm. Like this guy can play the quarterback position. It's just now you got 2 ACLs on the right knee. You got 1 ACL on the left knee, and he's 25 years old. You talked about it, earlier, Sam. He's 25 now. And again, you got 3 knee surgeries by the age of 25. That's not a good recipe. Again, the more surgeries you have, the more they start to add up, the more toll it takes on your body, the harder it is to recover each and every time that you get another surgery. It's just so hard to keep bouncing back and rehabbing. And 2, what people don't realize about rehab, when you're rehabbing, you can't get any better. You can't go out and practice, this and that. You're strictly focused on the rehab. So again, Michael Penix isn't able to make some of those leaps and bounds that he would want to make as a quarterback because he's so focused on rehab this offseason. And that's what he needs to be doing this offseason is focusing on quarterback, and he's going to have to spend it on rehab. So yeah, I'm super frustrated with Michael Penix, and Falcons fans, you are in a bad spot right now because again, you don't have your first round pick, you don't have your quarterback. He's going to be banged up, and it's just a lost season, and maybe next year it could be a lost season as well for the Atlanta Falcons because of everything that's going on this season. So probably the most disappointing team in the NFL for me. Like I had them out of the playoffs before the season, but I thought they were going to be right there, right in the mix. I thought this offense was going to be explosive. I wasn't sure how good the defense was going to be in the offensive line with losing Caleb McGarry, but this team has been one of the most disappointing teams in the NFL, if not the most disappointing team in the NFL, and it's super unfortunate to see for these Atlanta Falcons. But Sammy, we got one more game to talk about, okay? And it's a big game, okay? It's a big game for both teams. It is the 8-2 Philadelphia Eagles at the 4-5-1 Dallas Cowboys. The Eagles are coming off another gritty win over the Lions. I guess that's kind of what we have to call every single Eagles win at this point is gritty because this offense just never looks good at this point, and they're getting carried by the defense. But they're winners of 4 straight regardless. But they will be without starting right tackle Lane Johnson with this game with his foot injury. That's a huge injury for the Philadelphia Eagles. While the Cowboys had a dominant win versus the Raiders on Monday night and are looking to get back to 500. So, Sammy, I got to kick it to you. Who's taking this NFC East matchup? Is it going to be the Eagles or is it going to be the Cowboys?
Yeah, and on top of that, Cam Jurgens is also questionable. So, like, this offensive line is going to be banged up for sure especially if he can't play. But I will say Dallas doesn't necessarily Dallas does have a pass rusher, in my opinion, Quentin Williams. They have a guy on the defensive line along with Kenny Clark. Kenny Clark's still on the team, correct? I could be wrong, but he's still on the team, right? Yeah, I was confused to see if maybe he left, but you do have a great interior. I do think the interior is going to be very good, but I don't think you got the pass rush to really expose this Eagles offensive line for being banged up. Here's the thing. I want so bad. No, you want to know something? That week one game really showed the ebbs and flow of the season, because at the beginning of the year we all thought, okay, this Cowboys offense is really good, and then throughout the year it started to prove more and more that this Cowboys offense was really damn good, and it's still a really damn good offense. Okay, this is this offense is second in points per game. I don't know what it is this week. I feel like this is a trap game. I feel like this game is going to be, this is one of those games where nothing's really going to make sense. I think this offensive line is banked up. And even though I just said that they can't expose them in terms of pass rush, I do think the interior is going to provide enough push for something to happen. I do think they're going to be able to get to Jalen Hurts. By the way, shout out to him. He hasn't been turning the ball over, and that's really all we can say about Jalen Hurts. He does have 16 passing touchdowns and 1 interception. Probably the most unimpressive, like, good season I think I've seen. And it's because when you watch the games, he's really not. He can't really. He has a beautiful deep ball, but like the play calling, I mean, is so bad. It is so bad, and Saquon Barkley hasn't been. Even though Saquon Barkley's still going to touch 1,000 yards rushing this year, which is crazy given the fact that like this offense, like the offensive line is worse and the offensive run scheme is worse as well. Look, straight, I think something about this game, I don't think the Eagles can get anything going offensively. And when we've seen this week after week after week, we've seen it against good teams. We've seen it against bad teams. I mean, we've seen it against every single kind of team. So I think I'm going to call an upset. I think the Cowboys are winning this game. I think they're gonna light up the Phillies defense, even though the Phillies defense has gotten better and better. And I think Dakota Prescott is gonna lead this team to a victory. The Cowboys are gonna be 5-5-1, and they're gonna be firmly in this NFC wild card race, Matt. I think it's gonna happen.
God damn it, Sammy. God damn it.
No, what? No,
God damn it.
No, yes. You're lying. No,
I'm not.
No, stop
it.
I'm
not.
Change your mind right now. Don't.
I've done it. I've done it too much because you guys agree with me too damn much this year. It's pissing me off. Stop freaking stealing my takes. Stop. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know if you see the freaking notes on my flight. I don't know if you have access to the notes section of my phone or something, and you're just stealing my notes. I don't know what it is. Okay, but you're agreeing with me too damn much. Okay, this is my big upset. I was gonna come in here. I was gonna make a big fuss, like, oh, the Cowboys are gonna win. Oh, I haven't been a Cowboys guy all year. I think the Cowboys are gonna win this game. I have all these cool stats. You want to hear these cool stats, Sammy? They mean
Yeah,
nothing
go ahead.
now.
Say the cool stats.
They don't mean shit now, but I'm gonna say them anyway. Okay. In games with Lane Johnson, the Eagles are 120-62-1. Okay, that's a 66% win percentage. Without him, they're 15-24. That's a 38% win percentage. So, and points per game also drops from 26 with him to 22 without him. So, just illustrating how important Lane Johnson is. But again, it doesn't freaking matter because you already stole my freaking pick. Okay. Also, the Eagles' offense is already out of sync, and then the Cowboys' defense has looked much better last week with Quinn Williams. Plus, Dak Prescott's career at home versus the NFC East. He's 21-2 at home versus the NFC East. That's very impressive from Dak Prescott, and he's 6-1 versus the Eagles. But again, it doesn't matter because Sammy's stupid face and his stupid pit bull looking face over there stole my pick. All right, and now I gotta.
First of all, look, it's not my fault that I'm a genius, and that you had to copy my flow.
No, bro,
it's not my fault, man.
Why would I copy your stupid flow? I don't want to copy your flow.
Yes, you should. I mean, clearly you are, because I went first. I made the prediction, and then right after,
you don't have timestamps. You don't have timestamps on your stupid freaking notebook. I got timestamps on here that said it before, that I wrote it before you said it. All right, so don't come at me with that.
Absolutely not. He's lying to you. Okay, he's obviously lying.
And I bet you don't even have anything written on that notebook. I bet you
absolutely
just
not. Absolutely not.
I knew it.
You want to know why? You want to know why, stat boy? Because I figured that I would make an outlandish pick backed up with facts, logical facts, not statistics, but just common sense. And then all of a sudden, you'd be like, wow, that's a very out of the box pick there, Sam. I am actually going with the Eagles because of these stats that I'm going to throw at you. But guess what? You and your little pit number crunching stuff decided the stats say that the Cowboys are going to. Unbelievable, man. Look, first of all, I hope this is the last time we agree on each other this entire year, because we've agreed with each other so much this year. It's actually
since the preseason, bro. We were agreeing in the preseason.
No, okay, we're not gonna agree anymore. Okay, can we swear? No, we're not gonna agree on anything else. Okay, we'll shake on it. Yeah, there you go.
No more agreeing.
All right, man.
Just brutal, man. Like I can't believe it. I'm actually mad right now. I can't believe that. Just like I was literally building. I was building up to it the entire time.
Like you suck because I obviously thought of this first. I clearly did, and you just steal my flow. You steal this amazing charisma and presence. And
oh my gosh, honestly, this guy.
Honestly,
we're leaving. We're done.
You should be ashamed of yourself. Okay?
We are done. We're done. This episode is over. I don't want to talk to this man anymore. I want to do literally anything else with my life at this point than talk to this guy. So that's it. Thank you for watching. Subscribe or whatever, like or whatever. I don't even care. Comment, do all that stuff. Whatever, bro. We'll be back on Sunday. I promise you. Where I'm gonna intentionally disagree with this man, even if I'm lying. Okay, I will lie and disagree with this man on Sunday because I do not want to agree with him. Okay, we'll be back here Sunday to review the morning and afternoon slate. Then we'll preview Sunday night and Monday Night Football, and we'll